you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you. And if you want to pick a dramatic poem to recite at a press conference and you're Khalid Ibrahim, choose Rudyard Kipling's If, because that's what happened yesterday. Good morning, these are your morning headlines. I'm Lee Chwi Lynn. It's Tuesday, the 26th of August, 2014, and we're starting with Selangor because, New Straits Times. Stalemate in Selangor. Yesterday, as I mentioned, Tan Sri Khalid Ibrahim gave a press conference in which he said he wanted to leave a legacy. Today, he's speaking to the Sultan and he recited a poem. SPM. Over here, we have French political instability. So it's a whole front page of political instability, but the children, they're running with the flags. The children are our future, you guys. Malay Mail have gone with a very similar front page, D-Day for Selangor MB. And then down here, a happy child, because we can't seem to decide whether or not we want to be upset about what's going on in the country or celebrate our independence. Maybe a little bit of both. Utusan Malaysia have also gone with Khalid, asking whether he lepas jawatan. There's a lot of talk about what his plans are today, especially in terms of where we're headed, because PAS didn't sign over their complete and unwavering loyalty to Wan Aziza, which means that we might still be in a situation where we have snap elections. Can't wait, because that means we'll be talking about this for another whole month. And Berita Harian have also gone with Sultan Pilih Siapa, because apparently the support of 30 assemblymen isn't enough to secure one woman the position of Menteri Besar. In other news, because what else do we talk about now besides Tan Sri Khalid Ibrahim or MAS? Sina Harian, or nudity. Always a little bit of a mention there. Henti arak, tutup aurat. That is apparently the suggestion for MAS staff since the Khazanah national takeover is going on, which is apparently what a lot of Malaysians want, as well as the MAS Workers Union themselves. This could very well be the future of our national carrier. Now, I think that there are so many concerns to do with MAS and its future that the last thing we need to be worrying about right now is whether or not it's Islamic enough. Only in our country would a struggling national carrier have that as its major priority, that we need to stop the booze, cover the aurat. The Sun have a mixture of good and bad news. Up here, Japan ready to offer trial Ebola drug. It's nice to see some pharmaceutical companies anyway stepping up to a disease that is otherwise really quite neglected. And over here, staff crunch. Like I said, a lot of other concerns, you guys. So staff are apparently rehiring retired cabin crew to make up for those who quit. And these include people who had been asked to leave, as well as people who had been granted an early retirement. And in keeping with sort of the airport theme, we have a very snazzy front page actually by the Star. Departures, go on ahead. Tax evaders, please proceed to, what is this? The left. Basically, they're saying that there is no exit for tax evaders in this country. The page over here has been saying that the Internal Revenue Board has been waiting at exit points in our country to check on people. Now, you might just think, it's those, crazy rich folk. But apparently, even people who are owing up to 200 ringgit in taxes are being stopped from leaving the country. But something else that I wanted to point out in the Star. Are you ready for this, you guys? Hundreds bid couple farewell. What's wrong with this story? Nothing much, right? The story of this couple and their son on MH17 is one that's been reported for quite some time, alongside the numerous other very sad tragedies that occurred on that crash. Now, this is fine. I would like to point something out. Can you see that, you guys? iSnap.me. Now, that's just a part of the Star and their little mobile app. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's moving online these days. Can you guess what the problem is? That says iSnap.me for a video on the funeral mass. Since when did that become okay? Can I ask, since when did that become acceptable coverage? A funeral. Why are you commodifying a funeral? Not okay, you guys. I'm okay being on a one-woman rampage against emotional manipulation in the papers, but I think my manifesto is now also going to include no commodifying of grief. And to end on a light note, we have Harian Metro. The main thrust of their front page is rentak bunyian buatkan pengguna hayal, which means the beat makes you high, which I think is the premise of almost anybody who's been to a club in the last, 40 years or so. What they're saying now is that there's this new threat to our youth called digital drugs. Apparently people create these beats that simulate the feeling of being drunk, that simulate the feeling of being on various drugs. Is this front page news? I would argue no. Why? Because the last time I read about this was maybe last year in an article from 2010. So this is basically a story that is at least 4 years old, but we are only now recognizing as a real threat to Malaysian youth, and that we are giving an entire spread to. It's a scam, you guys. It does not work. There is no scientific value to it. If you are going to spend money on this, you're better off buying a bottle of booze. Not that I'm saying you should, but at least you'd be getting something out of it. For what it's worth, on the front page, also the story of Anak Melayu Genggam Hadiah Nobel, which is great news for Malaysia compared to everything else in the papers today. Wonderful news, which is of course why it is only a little sidebar and on page 19. Hi guys, I'm sorry you had to see me like that. My word of the day today is going to be, or rather my phrase of the day is going to be from the Star. No exit, as in no exit from your own stupidity and selfishness in terms of broadcasting people's funerals. But also no exit from the endless bad news, and stupid news for that matter, that our country seems to be surrounded with. But at least there is always the relief of ranting. As I am, I guess, a poster child of. If you would like to rant with me or against me or, you know, just rant in general, leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much. See you guys next week. This has been your Morning Headlines, BFM 89.9.